Welcome to the Crazy Dre Podcast Show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for popping in back in here for this sports talk podcast episode. Today, folks, we're going to talk about the NFL and a little bit about everything about the playoffs and coaches and so on and so forth. But here we go, folks. We got to talk about this guy right here, Mike McCarthy, an old Green Bay Packer coach, Dallas Cowboy coach, and now he's the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. And guess who he's reuniting with? Of course, everyone knows it's Aaron Rodgers. And this has got to be one of the, I don't know what you call it, one of the dumbest things that you can do for your franchise with an old team, old players. You probably need to get rid of everybody on that team, even Aaron Rodgers, and start drafting. That's basically what they're going to have to do. And with Mike McCarthy, I just don't see it. I get it. He's from Pittsburgh. It's a home state. His home team, his pride and joy of when he was a youngster and all this stuff. But does this make sense for the Pittsburgh Steelers to hire a guy who's been in the league for so long? Everyone's going very, very young with coaching staff, and they go with an old veteran. They go and sign for 5 years. When the contract ends, he'd be 67 years old, and it just sounds like they're desperate to just put a Band-Aid on the Pittsburgh Steelers for the next 5 years. I don't see this team going anywhere next year. I see a lot of old players. I see Aaron Rodgers maybe not staying with the Steelers. I just don't see how that's going to actually work. I just don't understand. That's just one of those things. It's a good story. It's a good story for Pittsburgh. It's a good story for older coaches who are on their way out, like Mike McCarthy. But what can you do about it? Carry on and hope for the best for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I would tell you this: I think Cleveland Browns will have a better chance beating them next year, and I do think that the rest of that division is going to have a good time with even Cincinnati Bengals. Who knows? You know one thing though: the Steelers won't go 8 years in a row without winning a playoff game with this coach because Mike Tomlin is out. So they could still make that mark for 8 years in a row, losing in the playoffs if they make the sub 500 year like they always do. So I always think that if you're going to start over, start with new coaches, a new team, get rid of the old guys, trade them off to teams like Detroit who needs to put some pieces in, or other teams out there and get draft picks. That's what I said about Pittsburgh Steelers when they got Mike Tomlin to retire or got fired. I would call it more retirement, but that's the way I would put it. So moving on to other stories, I don't have a logo about this, but I'm going to talk about it anyways. It looks like Philip Rivers was going to talk to the Buffalo Bills for coaching staff. He walked out of that. He decided not to do that. Smart move. There's no reason for you to go to an NFL team which has a lot of issues with the GM and the ownership of the Buffalo Bills. It looked like the coach for the Buffalo Bills got fired for gossip and just the GM just kind of threw him under the bus. I'm talking about McDermott. So, yeah, just a bad situation. I think Philip Rivers got himself a smart idea and try to stay out of it because he can't fix it if you don't have any other players besides Josh Allen going to the Pro Bowl or All-Star type compatible player on that team. You're not going nowhere. So good job, Philip Rivers. I do want to talk about. I do want to talk about. Let's see. I do want to talk about this. I think I want to just talk about this. Nope. No. I want to go here. Yes. So here we go. So this is the most disappointing end of the game of the AFC Championship game and the most bizarre, interesting game to watch. The game started as a regular, just a moment of just the same old kind of Regular playoff game, teams going back and forth. It looks like the Broncos down the field and score right away. It looked like the quarterback seemed to figure out whatever Bo Nix was able to figure out. So I guess what you got to call it is you got to call what was a good game for them. When I'm talking about Stidman, he did a couple of things good, but again, that experience as a regular starter is probably what killed him at the end of the game. I mean, he just threw the interception in the thin air with the snow coming down, and they couldn't move the ball. It was the second half was just so winter. It was just too much winter. You couldn't run with the ball. The quarterback and the running back Stevenson of the Patriots, he fell once in the fourth quarter, and then and Drake May, he fell, knowing the fact that his running back fell, so he can't. The ball wasn't going anywhere besides Stevenson's right there. So the games ended at 10-7, and I just think that it was just disappointing to see a game that was could be really really good, and it became really really bad at the same time. It was cute. It was fun to watch. If you have never seen a game like that, it was fun. But if you've seen a game like that, it remind me a lot of the Patriots and the Raiders game where again that game that where the Patriots won, but there was some scandalous calls and plays and situations in that game uh, during the Tom Brady era that was really suspicious. Some people think that the Broncos kind of shot themselves in the foot. What do you do? I mean, some people even think that Bo Nix didn't uh, hurt himself in the second and last play of the game in overtime to lose to no to win against the Bills. They say that he probably broke his ankle during the celebration when they went into the locker room because there is footage out there. You got to find it of him just walking around in second to last play, and he was just fine. And now, I mean, it was bizarre. It was bizarre. It was one of the most bizarre things that you ever see. I just can't really uh, uh, find a way to talk about it any more than I have to. The more exciting game of the night was the Rams and the Seahawks, 27-31. You had the great legend veteran quarterback Stafford winning the Super Bowl a couple years ago, was a Detroit Lion for years and suffered against Sam Darnold, who is basically uh, has basically resurrected his career through the stage of Minnesota Vikings, and you got to shoot yourself in the foot if you're Minnesota Vikings fans out there right now because you could have been in the playoffs, you could have been in the NFC Championship game with Sam Darnold, but you put all your marbles on JJ. So in hindsight, 2020, yeah, maybe it was a good idea they got rid of him, but I don't. Sam Darnold started with the Jets, didn't do so well. It wasn't his fault. You got to remember, a lot of these quarterbacks get screwed by bad coaches and by GMs and just it doesn't fit. So Sam Darnold uh, was your man. I think that one of the things that you have to look at Sam Darnold for is the fact that he he was a he was at USC. He won the Archie Griffin Award, which is the most valuable college player in football. So he won it as a freshman. So that's something to be very uh, proud of for Sam Darnold, a guy that did not give up. I mean, if you want to talk about how you should never give up on your dreams, look at Sam Darnold. Doesn't look like he should be there right now. He was kind of like dazed and I wouldn't say dazed and confused, but dazed like, yeah, this is amazing. I don't know how I got here, but I made it to a team that was had the best defense in the league with only what with only um uh 17.2 points per game. first in the first in the NFL, and only allowed 298 yards per game. So that's something to think about. And they were the fourth of all the offense. I didn't realize that at all either, with 28.4 per game. And yeah, that's just something that you have to kind of consider. What I would tell you, folks, is Super Bowl 60 is between the Patriots and the Seahawks. And you know what? It's going to be kind of weird. It's going to be kind of weird seeing two new quarterbacks. You have the Patriots without Tom Brady, and then you're going to have Sam Darnold, which without Wilson. So you get these two new quarterbacks, new fresh faces, new fresh athletes, and everything's going to be butter on toast, basically, right? So it should be a good game. Both these teams are 3-4 in the offense. Both these teams are relatively good on their defense. The Pats only allowed 21.2 points per game. And again, when I said the Seattle Seahawks, 17.2 per game. So do I think that it's going to be a high scoring game? No, I think maybe it'd be like 24 to 20. Yeah, maybe it will be like 24 to 31, or maybe it would be like 17 to 23 or something like that. I don't know who is going to win. I would almost think that for me, when I watch both of those games, I feel like Sam Darnold is more prepared mentally and physically for the game than Drake May. And now the reason why I would say this is because Drake May is his second year in his NFL career. He's never really been in this hype moment situation, and now he's in the spotlight. But I just don't see it how they. I don't know if you look at these numbers. If you look at these numbers, um, between the LA Rams and Seattle Seahawks, you know, with Seattle they have 7 for 13, and I'm just going to go for the Seattle's uh, uh, numbers. But if you look at Seattle's numbers, you have total play 65, total yards 296. Uh, they did they did allow uh, 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 Sam Darnold to get sacked 3 times. So the rushing was 75 yards. I think there should be more rushing for them. Passing yards was 2.9 per per play for the rushing for Seattle. The red zones are 4 for 5. So you had Sam Darnold with 25 for 36, 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he was sacked 3 times for 25 yards. Kenneth Walker rushing 19 carries, 62 yards, 1 touchdown, 11 uh, well, yeah, 11 attempts. So Sam Darnold had three carries, 9 yards, and the 14 yards for the longest. For the receiving, you go with Jackson Smith Nijiba. He had 10 receptions, 153 yards, 1 touchdown, 42 for his longest, 12 targets. Shaheed had 1 reception, 51 yards, uh, and 3 targets. So I think that if I keep going down, what I would say this about that game is that I just think the balance of that team is just better fit. I think Stevenson's will. Uh, I think he's going to have Stevenson's for the Patriots. He's going to have to do something. He's going to have a big game. He's not going to 60 yards from Stevenson isn't going to be enough. He needs to have a 100-yard game just to keep the balance of the Patriots on the ground, and that in itself will protect Drake and a very young quarterback in that situation. Sam Darnold, you know, he's got veterans. He's got a good team. He just I think he's just gonna have to settle down to allow the game come to him and not push it to make it happen. Any of the biggest mistake for any of these two quarterbacks is this: if you push the game to make things happen, you're going to screw up, and that's what's going to happen. You're going to uh, pass the ball on 3rd down and 5, and then you're going to you throw it into the zone or throw it into coverage, and you know full well that that guy's not going to catch it. It's what's going to kill Seattle or Denver. And both these teams will have to stick to the running game just to keep it relevant, for them to keep it balanced. Obviously, not this isn't brain science. This isn't brain surgery. Call it what you want to call it. Uh, Peace, man. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave this platform show this way. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me. Well, don't follow me on Facebook. Follow me on anywhere that you can get my podcasts, on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you can download it. YouTube, Patreon. Um, Thank you for watching. Pay. It helps me get work from home and do more things on podcasting. If you guys pay and subscribe for the show at the Patreon, peace, love, and I'm out of here. Let's go, Super Bowl 60. Let's go.